Hey guys, what's going on? So here we go. This video is going to be basically talking about EDC lights, everyday carry lights. I have some other flashlights and things that I have in my car, or just bigger flashlights, but they're not really ones that you would want to carry around every day. They're a little big and bulky. Good example of that would be I forget the exact name of this guy, the Protac, the Streamlight Protac. Great light, but this thing is stinking huge, and it's not going to fit in your pocket. Alright, so that's not an EDC light. But we're going to talk about some EDC lights, some ones I've used in the past, some ones I really like, some features about them that I really like, what I look for in a everyday light, just a utility kind of light. I don't have all the ones that I'd like to have here, but these are the ones that I'm using now or ones I have used before. Alright, so let's do it. Alright guys, here we go. If I have a scratchy voice or have to take a drink here in a minute, I've got some weird scratch throat thing going on and it's driving me nuts, so I apologize for that up front. Moving on, these are basically the lights, the flashlights, tactical lights, whatever you want to call them, EDC lights that I have used in the past. And we're going to kind of go through chronologically as far as what I started out with, why I got it, kind of talk about the pros and cons to each light, and end up with what I carry right now, and we'll talk about why I carry it, and we'll talk about what I look for in an EDC light, okay? What would be the ultimate light for me? So starting out, back in I think it was between 2006 2008, I picked up a Surefire E2E, the Executive Elite flashlight. Really love the aesthetics of this thing. Originally it came with a shorter clip. I think I've done a video of this before, but it came with a shorter clip, and this one has a clicky tail cap. The one that I had before did not have a clicky. It was just a momentary, or you had to screw it in all the way and it would be constant on, or you could back it out and it'd lock it out. But it was just a simple 60 lumen. I can't remember if it's a halogen or what the bulb was, but it's not the LED. All right. And it ran off two lithium, the CR123A batteries. Okay. And it was great. It was wonderful. I loved it. Basically, the only reason I stopped carrying it is because I lost it. And that kind of brings into the downside of the flashlight, is because I talked about before, I had that short clip on there, and with that short clip, whenever you're walking around with jeans or whatever and it's in your pocket, when you go to sit down or whatever, it'll move it up, it'll wiggle its way out, and with that short clip, pretty soon it's just going to pop out, and then it's going to fall out. And I believe that's how I lost the flashlight when I was hunting, and I have no idea where that light is now. So I was able to pick this up last year or the year before or something like that, just kind of replace it, nostalgic kind of thing, and I put a longer clip on it. All right. Another thing with this light, like I said before, is it's old because it doesn't use an LED bulb anymore. Back then, they didn't really have the LEDs. It wasn't a big thing. And at the time, it was really cool, and I loved it. It was a nice, soft, just a warm light, okay? But it was only 60 lumens, which was fine for EDC, not for tactical use, because when you go using the tail cap and everything, whenever anybody that knows anything about using lights for tactical anything, whatever, or for self-defense and stuff like that, when you turn it on, when you actuate it, and then you come off of it, that bulb that's not an LED, the halogen ones, it still glows for a second. So it kind of takes away some of your tactical advantage and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to try not to say tactical too much because it sounds really gay. Anyway. Sorry. So this light was really good, okay? And shortly after I got this one, which I was using as an EDC light just because its size was perfect and great and wonderful, I shortly after went to the Surefire G2, okay? And part of that reason, I think I had these both at the same time. And part of the reason was I was going to an academy in Texas, and first off, we did dive training, and the second phase of that training, and I was actually able to use the Surefire G2 as a dive light. All right, that was actually my primary dive light, and it worked just great. It didn't come with this funky bezel and all that stuff. It was just the regular polymer bezel. Didn't have the strike teeth or any of that kind of stuff, and it had the same kind of halogen bulb or whatever it was. It was not LED. That's what I'm trying to say, and it worked perfectly fine. Okay, I was able to use it, like I said, as a dive light, which is not what this thing is made for. We dove a lot of canals. I can't remember if we went down to 60 or 100 feet or whatever it was. It'd be advanced open water, whatever that depth is that you have to reach. but it worked just fine. The issue, part of the issue, and kind of a testament to Surefire, is that it would leak. Okay, and why would that be a testament? Well, because at the end of the day, the thing worked all day, and at the end of the day, I just take everything off, right? I dump everything, all the water out, and I let it air dry overnight, and then in the morning, put it all back together and go dive again. And it continued to work, even though it was wet and it probably was dangerous, and you're probably not supposed to do that, but that was the light that I had at the time, and it worked, and it was fine. I continued to use this light, and I upgraded it to an LED, which is not the Surefire LED. Probably should have done that, but it's just some LED off eBay or something like that, plus the aluminum bezel and everything. I upgraded to this when I went into law enforcement, went to the law enforcement academy and everything. Got hired on as deputy, all that kind of stuff, and it worked just fine. Okay, I use this as my primary light if I'm searching, looking for stuff, doing things like that. And I carried it on a little holster on my belt. Worked perfectly fine. Only issue, okay, if you're just searching, doing stuff with it, that's fine. If you're going to use it for any extended period of time, it didn't work. Not with this setup, okay, because this aftermarket bulb, after, I don't know, if you went for a solid 10 minutes, like if you had this thing on, not you know, tactile, using it, turning it on and off, just on for like 10 minutes, it would just go off. And I think it heated up something in there, and that bulb couldn't take it, even though it's an LED, and it would just shut off. So that was kind of dangerous, okay? So I carried multiple lights, okay? So don't think I was an idiot for doing that. But just as my first go-to, just as a you know, duty gear light, just for searching cars, or just if I needed a light real quick just to use it, it worked just great. Never had an issue, okay? But if you're going to use it to put a wand on it and direct traffic, or if you're getting into some situation where you really need a light to last for a while, don't use that. I couldn't use that bulb in this whole setup. But other than that, it had a lot of good things going for it. It was cheap. This thing's like 36 bucks, you know, something like that. I'm sure you can get them cheaper on eBay and Facebook Marketplace and all that kind of stuff. But it worked fine, okay? And it kind of replaced my E2E, partially because I lost it. We already went over that. So after a while of using this light, I decided to go, and partially because it had that whole issue with turning itself off after like 10 minutes, I went to the Streamlight, okay? So the Streamlight Polytac, all right? A friend of mine had used this back in the academy, and he got the Polytac. I got the Supertac. This guy right here. Okay, this is not a good EDC light because it's stinking huge, but it's a good light. But he got this light, and he thought it was really cool, and I got to use it a couple times during training and stuff like that, and it worked really well. Basically, it's the equivalent of the Surefire G2. Okay, they're basically the same size. If you take the teeth off this guy, off the Surefire, then the Surefire is a little bit shorter. But he is LED, all right? He's got a nice big old pocket clip, so it can double as an EDC light, even though it's kind of big for that little bit. I mean, you look at it compared to the E2E. E2E is nice and thin and slim, and it's shorter. But this guy can still work. And it did. It worked great. It had the 10 tap programmable tail cap and everything, so you could have high, strobe, and low, and then mix those up, program it yourself, and it worked just great. All right, I didn't die with it. Didn't do anything like that. So I don't know if you could use it for that, even though you're not supposed to use the G2 for that. It worked, but this light worked very well, and it kind of started to phase out the Surefire just because of the bulb issue. And this guy started working just great, and I used it just fine. Moving on, we moved, and I'm not a deputy anymore or any of that, so I don't need super tactical lights and stuff, so I've kind of moved on to the civilian sector, and I went to the Streamlight, the Protac 1L, okay? This little guy right here. And now we're kind of starting phasing into a new generation of technology, because before it was all about the halogen bulbs, and that was the coolest thing, 60 to 65 lumens, it was great. And then we started getting into LEDs, and then that opened up a whole new world, okay? And then everything started changing and stuff. Now, not only is it LED, but it started going to alternative batteries. They didn't have to start using the lithium batteries, okay? This one was able to use either a CR123A battery or a AA battery. All right, and as we all know, AA batteries are way more prevalent. They're almost surely going to be in a drawer in your house somewhere, okay? AA's or AAA's, and a lot of times we have both. And it worked really, really well. I liked the size of it. It's very small. It's actually smaller than the E2E. All right, width-wise or whatever, it's about the same. But the fact that it ran off a AA was just, I thought that was really, really, really cool. Okay. The output, the lumen output, I can't remember. I actually have the little packaging right here. If you use the 123s, it's got 350 lumens, which when you compare that to this guy who was 60 lumens back in the day when that was the hot stuff, and now this light's even smaller, and it uses half the battery, one battery instead of two batteries on that one, but it gets a lot more lumens. So you get like 350 lumens, and then if you're using the AA, it knocks it down over half to about 150, okay? And then you can use the lithium AA's, okay, and that will just get you some better runtime and stuff like that. I say that a lot, stuff like that, but I say that a lot. It's weird. But I really like this light, and it was very good, and it's been great. But then I saw something else, and it kind of caught my eye as being just that next step in the what's the word? I don't know the word, but the tactical EDC world community thing of people trying to be cool. Yeah, make that a term. But basically, it but I saw this guy, which is the Protac 2LX. Okay, and I think the first time I saw this light was I watched John Lovell's his video on this light. I believe it was this one, the Warrior Poet Society guy. I love his stuff. So he did a video on this light, and I got to looking at it, and I got to thinking, that's pretty slick. All right, that seems pretty cool. It's a little bit bigger than the other one that I had, the 1L, the Protac 1L. It is definitely bigger, and it's even just a little bit bigger than the Surefire E2E, just a little bit. Okay, and then you might be asking, well, what's so cool about it? What's so neat? Well, it does use two of the lithium batteries. Okay, the lithium CR123A batteries. I'm talking, yeah. It uses two of them just like it did on the E2E, but it will also use I forget the exact name of it, the 18650 rechargeable batteries. And to me, that just steps it up to that next level, okay? Because the AA's and the AAA batteries and stuff, they're good. They have their downside that they kind of, I don't know, they don't get as bright. They're not as bright as the lithium powered flashlights and stuff like that. I keep saying that, stuff like that. I need to quit. It's one of them term things. I don't know. When I get nervous, I say that. But for personal defense, this light was fine. It was just a little bit on the dim side for me. Like if I was in a movie theater or if I was in wherever and it's dark or in a parking lot, this is not going to have a whole lot of throw, okay? For looking for stuff, for just simply utilitarian use, looking for things, this light was fine. For the personal defense stuff, if you're going to pick up your light at night and go check something in the house, you know, you hear something, whatever, it was kind of dim for me. Just a little bit. You would be able to identify, but it wasn't an overpowering light, okay? That's one thing that John Lovell mentioned about the, what's it called? I get these names mixed up. The 2LX, he mentioned, and it's a lot brighter. It's advertised as being, I think it's 500 lumens. Yeah, so you have 500 lumens for about 2 hours 45 minutes to 3 hours and 15 minutes, depending on your batteries. But for about 3 hours, you got 500 lumens. It's not 1,000 lumens like some of these lights that are out there, but 500 lumens. That's pretty good for me. I mean that's plenty bright. It works perfectly fine so far. I've only had this true story, whatever you want to say. I don't know. Wow, I keep messing up my words. I've only had this for about 2 weeks or something like that, okay? And so I can't give like testament to the battery life and, you know, stuff's going to keep working on it and things like that. I need to quit saying that. I cannot give testament to the battery life and everything on this compared to like the 1L because this guy will last for a couple weeks, you know, just everyday kind of stuff with the AA, and then you just switch out your AA. You'll notice it getting dimmer. It won't just black out. You'll notice it getting dimmer, and you just switch out your battery. After maybe a month, maybe not a couple, yeah, it's about a month. This guy, I don't know yet, but the beauty of it is it's got the rechargeable battery, all right? I don't have to be looking for those lithium batteries and switching them out. Like this doesn't have, this light's empty right now, this light's empty right now, this one's empty right now, and this one has the two lithium batteries right now. So I don't keep all these batteries, all these flashlights all charged up and ready to go because it's expensive and I don't use them all the time right now. But it's nice to have the rechargeable battery that I can just keep one charged, and then if I wanted to, every week I could just switch them out to keep the batteries always charged, always good to go. You know, even though they should last a month or however long, I don't have to worry about it, and I can just keep them charged and keep it going. Okay, so moving on to what would be the ultimate flashlight for me, okay? What would I look for in being like the ultimate flashlight? Basically, if you were to combine these three lights, okay, into one light, I think that'd basically be it. And we'll talk about that. With this light being the size, if you could get it down to this size, I know the diameter is going to have to be a little bit bigger down here to accommodate the batteries. But this size of light to me is perfect. Okay, it's not too long, it's not too short. Perfect, fits in your hand just great. Shut up about the comments. Yes, I said that. So the size on this one is perfect. The thing about these two lights and conjoining them together would basically, I think it'd be amazing, and I think with today's technology they should be able to do it to where you can use the two lithium, the CR123A batteries, the 18650 rechargeable battery, or be able to have an insert that you can put in and run a single AA battery, okay? I understand that with the AA battery you're going to give up a lot of lumens, okay, and runtime and all that kind of stuff, but like I said, I think with today's technology they could have it in there and make it to be able to work, okay, so that if something was to happen, whatever was to happen, and you couldn't get lithium batteries, you couldn't recharge your rechargeable batteries, but you had AA's, you could still run with that, you could still use it, okay? I think that would be really, really good for the power source. For the lumens, for 500 lumens, this is a very good light, I think. I kind of would like to have, since it's already programmable, it has high, low, and other modes in there, if they were able to bump this up to a 1000 lumen, because they already make one that's basically the exact same thing, and it is 1000 lumens, and it's a weapon light. Excuse me. It's one of the weapon lights that came out last year or the year before, Streamlight. And basically, if you were able to have the same lumens and keep the head the same size, not get one of them fatter heads where it bevels out like this, but for EDC kind of stuff, to keep the head the same size, be able to have 1000 lumens, okay, and then you could still have it programmable, all right, and have like your super high, and then your high, and then your low, you know, and then if you wanted strobe, whatever, you could throw strobe in there. But I think that would be very practical to me. That would be kind of a light. I know you can't have a light that does all, because it's not a you know, a floodlight and all that kind of stuff. I don't want the bezel to be adjustable, you know, like these lights where you turn them on, you know, and then you can fine tune it down and look for stuff or make it go longer, whatever. I don't know. I don't like those kind of lights. That's just more stuff to break, okay? But it's already programmable to have different levels of brightness. If you could bump it up to 1000 lumens, I think that'd be perfect. And that's basically it. Having a light that's like that, it's lightweight, fits in your pocket just fine. Particularly with this model, I would prefer to have a tail clip like this, or tail clip. It's not a tail clip, a belt clip or a clip, whatever you want to call it. Not one that is kind of friction held on like this guy. I've had problems with its younger brother where this clip will pop off sometimes. Okay, I've been moving boxes, helping a friend move and everything, and I've looked down and my flashlight was on the floor. All right, that's very annoying, and it's really just because the thing came off. All right, and I hope that doesn't happen with this guy. That'd be very frustrating and annoying. But if they were able to have it either like this guy, it's kind of you have to force it down inside here. It's kind of complicated, whatever. And then the bezel keeps it from backing out and all that kind of stuff. Maybe not that. However they want to do it, or possibly even like the other Streamlight, to where it is, you know, it's a ring. I don't want to take the O-ring off, but you can see it's a ring that goes all the way around. It goes down, the O-ring goes over it and keeps it from coming out. You know, something like that, to where you could either run it this way and it'd be, you know, that ring be the same size as up here, as back here, so you could flip it, you know, put it on the tail side, put it on the head side, whatever one. Probably made no sense. I've reshot this video like 10 times and I'm not going to do it again, and maybe I have residual meds in my body or something like that from my cold, so maybe I can't think straight. That's probably what it is. So there you go, folks. That's basically what I would look for in a light. That's what I've carried before, okay? Each one of these lights has its pros and cons. This guy, basically, you can't use the rechargeable batteries in it, and it's a low-power light. The pluses on it, or the pros on it, is just that it's very small, handy, and light. It's great. I love it. This guy here, he's got no easy way to carry it unless you have a holster for it, and it's just kind of big and bulky. This guy answered the question with having a clip, but then he's kind of big and bulky. This guy was perfectly fine. The only problem would be the clip would pop off sometimes, and it's not as bright as I would want for a personal defense light. For an everyday carry, just looking for stuff light, that's fine. But for a personal defense light, might want a little bit more than this. This guy right now is the best of everything that I've had so far, to where it is very bright, all right, like 500 lumens. Uses rechargeable batteries or your lithium batteries. Doesn't use the alkaline, the AA batteries. Maybe they'll do that next year. I don't know if they'll ever do that or not, but doesn't use those yet. Just uses the lithium batteries. And it's nice and compact. Basically, there's not a whole lot of excess to it. The way that it sits in my pocket, I'll show you that right now. I don't carry it this way. That's too much of the bezel sticking out. All right, that gets in the way. If you carry it bezel down, it basically dissolves into your pocket. Okay, it makes it won't turn on by itself. All right, which I've had trouble with this guy right here sometimes. When you go to bend down or sit down, it will click the tail cap. This guy won't do that. The only downside to this is you got to learn how to pull it out of your pocket. All right, because if you're stressed out and you're reaching in your pocket, there's not a whole lot to grab onto. Okay, so there's a couple little things that they could work out, but basically, this is the best thing I have right now. So I hope that was helpful for y'all. I hope it didn't completely drive you nuts with my inability to talk or keep a sane mind right now. I don't know what's going on. It's probably the aliens. They're probably messing with my mind. That's what it is. You always blame it on the aliens, and they just call you crazy. And then you just blame it on the aliens. So there you go. I hope that was helpful. I hope it answered, I don't know, if anybody had questions about EDC lights or were looking into getting lights. Any of these lights would be good, I think. And right now, these guys only run like 60 bucks, okay? And this guy new was like $100, I think, or $70 back when I bought it. So go with this guy. That's what I would go right now. Go with the Protac 2LX. Or if you don't need it to be super bright and you want to be able to use AA's, use the Protac 1L, 1AA. There you go. Hope that answered y'all questions. Y'all be good to be safe. Thanks for watching. And stand by for more. See you in the next video.